I was noticing this morning when I was saying the names of the Sangha, the safe passage of Barry Mason was here not so long ago. And then she was on the list. And now after 49 days, we move people off the list. So where is she? She was here, she's not here. What is this moving and coursing? And I also wanted to say in particular, in our Sangha, Patty Garrett, I think it's okay to say, as COVID related chronic illness at this point, just so we hold her in our hearts. Terry Decker, I believe, had surgery this week. Judy Breslin, who sits with us, took a fall this past week. So just holding all of us close. A reminder that some of us will be sitting this Saturday evening through Sunday. Wherever you are, you're sitting with us. And if you have a sudden flurry of great sitting enthusiasm, there's still more than enough room. You can join in, or join in wherever you are. So let's do the before lecture chant. An unsurpassed, penetrating, and perfect Dharma is rarely met with, even in 100,000 million kalpas. Having it to see and listen to remember and accept, I vow to taste the truth of the Tathagata's words. So the Heart Sutra, the essential teaching of Buddhism, not as something laid on top of anything, but pointing towards what's really true. There are so many commentaries. I'll be bringing some of them forward. It's so important we find out what this means in our own hearts and bodies and minds. Not some idea of this thing that we chant and then it maybe becomes a little rote. Although it's wonderful when you chant it a lot, you begin to memorize it, or it begins to memorize you, and then it's there and you live with it and it turns you and you turn it. But to find our own words through our own experience of what this is, to express the Dharma in our own lives. Otherwise, what are we doing? It's just one more thing laid on top of ourselves and the world. Moving and coursing, I like those words. They feel alive. It's like coursing, what is it? I have to admit that when we do the loving kindness meditations, I'm really enjoying bringing forward, because it's easy to say, oh, I mean, it's not easy to say, but maybe it's easy to think we know what love is or kindness is. But to keep turning the words and finding it through the different sutras and teachings that we're waking up to. Love is so vast and deep and broad and unknowable. The minute you think you know what it is, you just hit the edge of the known world, and it's so much bigger. And kindness, what is to live kindness? I mean, these are bodhisattva koans. And as I said, I think last week, and I'll probably say again, is the bodhisattva teachings are grounded in the emptiness teachings. Bodhisattvas course and move in emptiness. But what in the world does that mean? So I don't know about you. I think, oh, I want to be a bodhisattva. What better thing to do with my life? But what does that mean? And what does it mean to embody it? It's the koan. And the Heart Sutra points directly at the emptiness teachings. It is the emptiness teachings. The Heart Sutra, as we know it in one little page, is the essence of all of Buddhist doctrines. It brings forward every Buddhist doctrine. It's really remarkable in its denseness. And it says, it's not that. It's not that. Don't get caught there. But it also doesn't say, don't study it and don't know it. So what we're going to be doing in these few weeks that we'll be following the Heart Sutra is not so much, and I said this on Tuesday too, not so much the doctrine part of it, which is a very important part to study. I'll be bringing some of that forward, but the felt sense of moving and coursing. So what I wanted to bring forward today is Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh has a wonderful little book, The Heart of Understanding, Commentaries on the Prajnaparamita Heart Sutra. Thich Nhat Hanh is also, if you know Thich Nhat Hanh at all, you know that he's been enormously influential, and he's also been enormously creative in terms of language, of making these ancient texts accessible to those of us in this modern world. And he keeps changing the language. It was, I sort of thought I knew what I was doing this morning. And I mean, I never know what I'm doing, but I had some idea about what I might do. And I wanted to bring forward, there's something by him, as I mentioned in the newsletter, in Lion's Roar, the most recent Lion's Roar. There are several, maybe 7, I don't know, I didn't count, commentaries on the Heart Sutra, and Thich Nhat Hanh is one of them. And then I was going to bring forward, and I probably still will, the teachings from this little book. And then I just happened to Google, and Thich Nhat Hanh in 2014, which actually was kind of a while ago, but he's also, we know he's had a stroke and so hasn't been actively teaching, though I'm sure he's coursing and moving. He did a whole new translation of the Heart Sutra, which I actually don't think I'd seen before. So that's where I think we'll start today. Debbie, are you okay with pulling both of them up?
I don't think I can. I don't know if I can pull 2 up at a time.
No. We can do them
Oh,
one at a time.
oh, okay. Okay, which one do you want first?
So what we're going to do first is the traditional one, because it's important to just get it in our bodies and to keep sounding it. And then I'll chant that, and Debbie will put it on the shared screen, and then we're going to chant Thich Nhat Hanh's translation of it.
Okay, you need to make me co-host.
Oh, that's right. I do need to do that.
You do.
Thank you.
It's true.
I can do that.
Okay.
That I know how to do. Okay. So we'll chant it together, both of them, although it'll sound like just me to me and you to you. The Heart of Great Perfect Wisdom Sutra. Avalokiteshvara, when deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, clearly saw that all 5 aggregates are empty and thus relieved all suffering. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness, emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness, emptiness itself form. Sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked by emptiness. They neither arise nor cease, are neither defiled nor pure, neither increase nor decrease. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness. There is neither ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, neither old age and death nor extinction of old age and death. No suffering, no cause, no cessation, no path, no knowledge, and no attainment. With nothing to attain, a bodhisattva relies on prajna paramita, and thus the mind is without hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Far beyond all inverted views, one realizes nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future rely on prajna paramita and thereby attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. Therefore, know the prajna paramita as the great miraculous mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra, which removes all suffering and is true, not false. Therefore, we proclaim the prajna paramita mantra, the mantra that says, Gate, gate, para gate, parasam gate, bodhisvaha. Now we'll see what Thich Nhat Hanh, the language he brings forward. The insight that brings us to the other shore. Avalokiteshvara, while practicing deeply with the insight that brings us to the other shore, suddenly discovered that all of the five skandhas are equally empty. And with this realization, he overcame all ill being. Listen, Shariputra, all phenomena bear the marks of emptiness. Their true nature is the nature of no birth, no death, no being, no non-being, no defilement, no purity, no increasing, no decreasing. That is why emptiness, body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness are not separate self-entities. The 18 realms of phenomena, which are the six sense gates, the six sense gates and the six sense objects and the six consciousnesses are also not separate self-entities. The 12 links of interdependent arising and their extinction are also not separate self-entities. Ill-being, the causes of ill-being, the end of ill-being, the path, insight, and attainment are also not separate self-entities. Whoever can see this no longer needs anything to attain. Bodhisattvas who practice the insight that brings us to the other shore see no more, yes, they're bigger, see no more obstacles in their mind. They can overcome all fear, destroy all perception, and realize not perfect nirvana. All Buddhas in the past, present, and future, by practicing the insight that brings us to the other shore, are all capable of attaining authentic and perfect enlightenment. Therefore, Shariputra, it should be known that the insight that brings us to the other shore is a great mantra, the most illuminating mantra, the highest mantra, a mantra beyond compare, the true mantra that has the power to put an end to all kinds of suffering. Therefore, let us proclaim a mantra to praise the insight that brings us to the other shore. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam gate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam gate, bodhisvaha. So here's Thich Nhat Hanh's commentary from The Lion's Roar. Begins with the Zen koan. I actually love this koan. A Zen master asked the novice monk, "Tell me about your understanding of the Heart Sutra." I could say to you right now, tell me about your understanding of the Heart Sutra. And like a good little monk in this story, the monk said, he joined his palms and said, "I have understood that all the five skandhas are empty. There is no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, and no mind." The teacher says, "Do you believe this?" "Yes, I truly believe this." "Come closer," the Zen master instructed the novice monk. And as the novice drew near, the Zen master reached out, grabbed his nose, and twisted it hard. Now, I'm not going to suggest you cause yourself great pain, but just can you take your nose and just tweak it for a minute, just to get some feeling for this? Just like hand, flesh to flesh contact in the body. Feel it. What do you mean, no eyes, no ears? There's a nose. In great pain, the novice cried out, "Master, you're hurting me." The Zen master raised his eyebrows questioningly. "But you just said that the nose doesn't exist. So if there is no nose, then what is hurting?" Seems to me anytime we get a little heady or a little lost, doing something, I mean, kindly, not to hurt ourselves, but just grabbing hold of your nose might be a really good way to bring ourselves back, get us out of any ideas about what is or isn't. It's just soundly land right here in this very body, in this very moment. Thich Nhat Hanh says, "The Heart Sutra is a deep and important text, which has the capacity to bring us to the shore of liberation, happiness, and peace. And yet, it has also caused much misunderstanding for more than 1,500 years. I believe that these misunderstandings have come about because the patriarch who compiled the Heart Sutra made an unskillful choice of wording. The deepest of the Prajnaparamita teachings are the emptiness of self and the emptiness of all phenomena, and not the non-existence or non-being of self and phenomena. So it points towards emptiness instead of the non-existence or non-being of self and phenomena. There's a difference. That's why he chose a new formulation of words. Instead of saying, "In emptiness there is neither form, nor feelings, nor perceptions, nor mental formations, nor consciousness," Thich Nhat Hanh says instead, all of these things, form, feeling, body, perception, impulse, mental formations, everything, are not separate self-entities. Nothing is a separate self-entity. That's really different than the way the mind could cognize the word emptiness. All phenomena are products of interdependent co-arising. It's a great word. Interdependent co-arising. Wow. Just let your mind imagine this interdependent co-arising. The whole world, time, past, present, future, interdependently co-arising in this moment, creating this moment. I'll say more about that in a minute. They do not have a separate self. This is the key point of the Prajnaparamita teaching. Nothing can exist on its own. Everything interexists. And so it's more helpful to use the phrase, not separate self entities. It's as important as form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Because what we're pointing at goes beyond conventional truths. We human beings think in opposites. It's the way our mind, our eyes cognize. We can see this because we can see that. We like it, we don't like it. Up, down, right, wrong, light, shadow, you, me, which is fine. There is particular, don't miss it. But then we got caught there. And we don't know how to live in paradox. The paradox of, I couldn't be here without you being here. And you couldn't be here without your grandmother and your grandfather. And we wouldn't be studying these sutras without everything that came before. And the future won't be without what's happening in this moment. You can't take it apart. But we have to, because we are so wedded to, attached to this way of cognizing, which can take us down lots of roads of war and everything else. Buddhist teachings and the emptiness teachings tend to lead the other way and say, yes, and you might consider this. If you think this is true, you might say, no, what's really going on here? What's the truth here? It helps us transcend all pairs of opposites, such as birth and death, being and non-being, defilement and purity, increasing, decreasing, subject, object, and helps us get in touch with the true nature of everything. No being, no non-being. No being, no non-being. Just touch your nose and come right back. Remember, there's another Zen story about, I think it's a child. It's one of the ancestors who was to become one of the great ancestors, but as a child, he heard the teachings, and no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. And he said, or we could say she said, but there are eyes and ears and nose and tongue and body and mind. And the teacher who was hearing this went, oh, that person has great potential. What do you mean, no nose? It's right here. It's as clear as the nose on your face. But if you get attached to what you think this nose is and miss it, so let me, this is what I wanted to bring forward. In our bodies, we have lungs, heart, kidneys, stomach, and blood. None of these can exist independently. They can only coexist with the others. Your lungs and your blood are two things, but neither can exist separately. The lungs take in air and enrich the blood, and in turn, the blood nourishes the lungs. Without the blood, the lungs cannot be alive, and without the lungs, the blood cannot be cleansed. Lungs and blood inter-are. The same is true with kidneys and blood, kidneys and stomach, lungs and heart, blood and heart, and so on. Nothing can be just by itself. It is teaching us. That's what the Buddha's meditation, because this is happening in the Buddha's meditation. Buddha is coursing with everything. And Avalokiteshvara is saying, see, look. You want to know what compassion is? You want to know how to live on this earth? You want to know what a bodhisattva's heart is? Look deeply. Form is empty. It's empty of a separate self, but it's full of everything in the cosmos. It's true of feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness, on and on. Everything is flowing like water in a stream. Understanding like water can flow and can penetrate. The minute we think we know anything, we've actually lost the whole world. Now, I don't know about you, but this sounds right to me. It's like, wow, what a great insight. Living it, that's the koan, living it. What is it to move and flow deeply in Prajna Paramita? So here's my question. We have a little time to talk together. You can go with this question wherever it takes you, wherever the sutra takes you. Is how do you bring yourself back? What brings you back when you get stuck in separation? I mean, maybe you don't get stuck in separation. I get stuck in separation all the time. I like it. I don't like it. I wish that person would stop doing something. I wish I would stop doing something. Wish those wars out there would stop. So from the most subtle to the most, I suppose we could say gross, but I don't mean it in a bad way, is how do you bring yourself back when you can feel yourself being caught in othering? And how might this sutra or these words be a help? So